Hey, everybody. It's exciting Monday with our friend Mel.
Hi. First of all, I got to say, Linda, you look fabulous, darling.
Thank you, my friend. He's talking about my burnt face where I had that Fraxel done.
You looks amazing.
Thanks. It healed so fast. I can't believe it. I still have some red. You see that? That's part of it. The day after, though, I did look like I was sitting in the sun and got sunburnt big time.
Well, you always look amazing, but you look more amazing. Amazinger. I don't know.
Now, if I could just burn off this fat.
Yeah, well, me too. You know, I
Yes.
wanted to go for liposuction. The doctor said we don't have a tube but a container.
Do you remember when James Brown's wife died because she had all of it done? That terrible person. They did, I think, a facelift and an eye lift, and they did liposuctioning on her, and they killed her.
Way too much.
Liposuction is not something you take lightly.
No, I just had
removing fluids out of your system.
I just had a client that had it done, and they nicked like a vessel, and he all this blood leakage and everything turned black. So it wasn't in the face, thank goodness. But
were they able to stop it? Of course, cauterize it, or
yeah, they did. But
oh my God! Of course, they probably charged this person still.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Whether they screw up or not, you always have to pay.
But we got a lot of people asking questions, and there's some. You guys really sent some great questions. Thank you.
I've got a bunch of notes too. So
we've got wonderful, wonderful people who watch us.
Yes. And Linda, I have to once again say thank you to you, because if it wasn't for you, you look at me on your YouTube channel, you encouraged me to do my own, and I'm your biggest fan. We've become very good friends. I love you. She didn't pay me to say that, but I owe my thanks to you. So
thank you.
Enough.
Thank you. Oh, I did a video earlier with Andre. You got to watch his show. It's Astrology Alert. He's very short and to the point. I think he's really good. There's some good, there's some good astrologers online on YouTube, but I'll tell you, I was very surprised about him because I was sitting there giving him my birthday, September 10th, 1972. And he was like, what?
September 10th, maybe, but what?
Are you calling me a liar? So anyway, you should see my driver's license when it shows how much I weigh. But anyway, so he did just a quick kind of took a look at me. God, he was dead on. Get a reading with him, my friend. And then he said, he talked about, be sure to watch the video because he had a lot of information he was giving. But he did say that, he said, I could tell that you've had many men in your life.
No, what gave him a clue?
Oh, honey, my dance card was full back in the day. I said, it's so good being my age now and stuff because I could care less about ever having a man. He goes, well, actually, you have this aspect coming up. I said, Gerard Butler's finally going to come? He goes, well, I don't know what it is, but it's pretty exciting. I said, oh, Gerard Butler, I can finally cook for him. Anyway.
I saw a man coming into your life.
You did too, yeah. I try not to pay attention to that because I'm really not. When I was younger, I would have lived on that. But now it's like, whatever.
Oh, honey, if I wasn't married, I'd be paying attention.
So
now, how do you spell Andre?
Andre.
Andre. So people want to go to his.
He's Astrology Alert. Astrology Alert is his YouTube.
Okay, good. Well, I will check it out.
Do you know Denise Siegel? I listen to her. I listen to Marianne.
I listen to everybody. Well, some no. I listen to you.
But I'll tell you, watch this because he's not as long. He just gets to the point.
Okay. I'll get a reading.
I'm a Virgo and my mind is always going, and it's hard for me to stay a pinch.
I have Virgo on the ascendant, so that's why.
One time my dad got so mad at me because the teacher said, Linda seems spacey, like she's not paying attention. She's out there. Well, I was in my head all the time. I was seeing guides watching me when I was a little kid. I used to see them watch me like they were in an audience. And I thought, Any day now, I'm gonna be famous because they're watching me like I'm famous.
They called it ADD. I call it being a medium. I don't know.
Okay, so thank you for coming. And then next Monday we'll do
Okay, thanks for
your
having me.
town.
There's
Okay.
one thing I want to shout out. It's something I found. It's really cool. It has nothing to do with psychic or anything, but you know, I play around with YouTube, but I saw these two gentlemen. They're called Foxes Afloat, and they sold everything, and they bought a narrowboat, and they uh, travel up and down the canals in Great Britain and the UK. And the one Colin, he has I think he's got ADHD or ADD, underlying anxiety, and he's on the he has high functioning Asperger's or autistic spectrum disorder. But anyway, it talks about a little bit about mental health, but it's just about their life on this boat, and it's really cool stuff. And so
Foxes Afloat. I'm gonna check it out.
Foxes Afloat. You know, I have ADHD and a little OCD and all kinds of other stuff, and so it's kind of nice to see people online talking about, you know, how to come to terms with these issues that we've had and diagnosed later on in life. So it's really cool stuff. Watch it. It's really cool.
That's great. That's great.
And they have a dog too,
Oh,
who lives on the boat with them, Otis. He's such, oh my God, he's such a cute dog. So
as soon as I get done with you, I'm gonna
you
go
gotta
there.
check it
I
out.
also have an announcement to make that, just these words, high colonic soap suds enema. You feel fantastic. So anyway,
Okay. On that note, let's talk about Trump.
I come in with the gloves and the rubber hose. Yeah, we're doing a high colonic soap suds enema today.
I freak out when I try to have to get a colonoscopy. I can't think of that.
I know, it's so terrible. Oh my God. You know, my dad was a paraplegic, and they kept wanting to do that to check. And he finally one day said, you know what, because he's a paraplegic, and it was so hard because, you know, it sort of induces diarrhea and stuff. He
Right.
just, no.
Yeah.
If I get cancer, so what? So
By the way, how's Nicole?
she's doing great.
Hey.
You know, she just had her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Nicole.
She was August 5th.
Oh, cool.
And my grandson's starting school today, I believe.
Oh, wow, mask.
I said, Nicole, be sure to stop the car before you get him out of the car. Don't tell him like I used to tell you, duck and roll, duck and roll. I remember one time I was with a girlfriend driving, and her little girl was in the back seat, and my two boys were there. And we were pulling up to my house. And I turned around, I said, okay, boys, duck and roll. She's not going to stop the car all the way. Well, my kids were already on to me. You know what I'm saying? But oh my God, that little girl's eyes were as big as saucers. She thought my kids were going to have to jump out of the car.
It reminds me when I was a kid of those nuclear commercials on TV. If you see this flash, duck and cover. I was like,
Yes.
for what? I'm going to be incinerated anyway. What difference does it make?
My poor sister, she had a pretty quiet home. You know, her boys were raised in that kind of, my boys were raised with this mother. What the hell are you talking? You know, I wasn't a beater, but I would yell. My kids were so used to it. One day, all the boys are playing, getting their toys, and their binkies are in their mouth because all our boys were sort of close together. I turned, I saw Jacob with something. I said, drop that. And her two boys dropped. They had it. My kids continued like, was that, did I hear something? Whatever. Her two boys dropped what they had in their hands. We laughed about that for a long time.
You know, I remember when we were kids, we'd be like, shut up or I'll give you something to cry for.
Yeah, that's what my dad used to say. Yeah.
All righty then.
Okay, so key of love. This is very interesting. While sleeping, my friend felt paralyzed. He opened his eyes, and a pale creature with hollowed out eyes was hovering over him. It had elongated claws and something sticking out of its wrist. Maybe that third claw, huh? Pointing towards my friend's mouth. It became distracted by a painting of a cat on the wall and broke eye contact with my friend. He managed to pull the blanket over his head and began praying to God. He is not a religious person. The creature disappeared. He was so scared he slept with the blanket over his head. Is this sleep paralysis or an evil spirit or an alien encounter?
Okay. What happens in sleep paralysis is you're in a stage 5 sleep. And when you're having rapid eye movement sleep, that's when you're dreaming. And everything's paralyzed, believe it or not.
Yeah.
All your voluntary muscles are paralyzed. And what happens is you go through 4 or 5 sleep cycles a night. So then you start to come back to stage 2 sleep or stage 3, and your brain is still dreaming, but you're starting to wake up and you know it, but for that second you can't move. And so it seems like an eternity, but it's really not. It's just the brain shifting gears. So a lot of times it can be a dream. I call it astral projection. I think we're out on the astral and we're just coming back in. But it sounds like sleep paralysis to me.
So that energy form is what? That thing that was on his chest is what?
It could be something that, subconsciously, that maybe, a fear of his. It could be, we all have this fear of maybe these creatures or something. I don't know, but I don't think it's really anything to worry about. I don't see him being hurt by it.
Right, but I do think it might be something. That's my head. That
Well, no,
it could
I'm
be
sure it's
something
something.
lingering out there that comes upon them when they're in that stage, just to frighten them.
I'm sure it's something, but
Yeah.
the bottom line is, as long as he said the prayer and then, he was protected. Sleep paralysis happens to me all the time. But whenever it happens to me, it always means there's a different psychic gift that's going to be opening up for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I've had it before. I used to go exit out of my body,
Yeah.
and I mean, right before it would happen, my bed would start shaking.
Right.
And it wasn't an earthquake. My bed would start shaking.
There
And
are physical
I
manifestations.
exited, I'd go through the roof and I could feel the change of the temperature and everything. And one day I asked, please don't let me do this anymore. I don't want to go there. And it stopped.
I used to astral project a lot. It used to terrify me. Then I got used to it.
Right. Yeah, I didn't like it.
Now I just, before I go to bed at night, if you got a message, give it to me when I'm awake, because I need to sleep.
There you go. Here's Shine Light. Shine Light is asking, is President Biden happy with performances of his Attorney General Merrick Garland, especially around the 1/6 insurrection and the alleged criminal activities of the Trump family?
My guides tell me that Biden is pretty happy with what Merrick Garland is doing.
Okay.
Trump, my guides keep showing me that these kind of skeleton-y, black chocolatey fingers that represent Trump, and they touched every aspect, every institution in this country. And there's no way Garland can possibly investigate all of it.
Right.
But, Trump will be under indictment, federal indictment. And I do think at some point Merrick Garland's going to open investigation, probably what happened on 1/6 as a result of that commission, and other things that they're probably doing behind the scenes that we know nothing about.
It might take a couple of years, but they're definitely going to hit that help with Putin to help him win the election using a foreign agent.
I did pull a tarot card and justice came up.
There you go.
So, I would not want Merrick Garland's job. And I also think he's busy right now. I intuit that he's busy right now getting rid of a lot of those people within the Department of Justice who supported, what was the guy's name? Jeffrey Clark and all of that. And that Jeffrey Clark was right under Rosen. And
Clark is in trouble too.
Yes. I think Merrick Garland's going to investigate him, and Jeffrey Clark will be under indictment because he's the one that wanted, I think, Rosen to sign that letter to send to the Georgia officials.
Right.
That just came out. So my guides are telling me that Merrick Garland is investigating that and the stuff inside his own department.
Right.
And so Clark is going to be in deep, deep water.
Right. Everybody, all these people that are so against being told to have the vaccine and you can't do that and this and that. And what we're trying to do is save this country. We want to open up. We want to have agencies. And listen, the cool thing is, I don't know if you saw, but the courts decided that you can't tell a Carnival cruise, they can't make you show proof of vaccine and or wear a mask. They just overturned that. They said to Ron DeSantis, you can't do that.
Oh, when DeSantis tried to say that.
Yeah. And
the
also the
COVID.
schools are suing them. You can't tell us we can't not wear masks. They're gonna win on that too, by the way.
They are going to win on that.
And right now, what I feel is that we're gonna start getting, because right now, by the way, the federal government just decided, hold on, the Pentagon is expected to mandate COVID-19 vaccines for all active duty military members by September. So that's in the works. And let me tell you something, like the Seattle sheriffs had said, you can't make us do this. There's people in California. I think some of them are Trumpsters. And I
Yeah.
think you're gonna that's the FBI too. FBI's mad. They're gonna make them get vaccinated. I think you're just gonna filter out the ones who are troublemakers.
Well, I had wrote here with those states, like here they are. The anti-mask mandators: Florida, Texas, Arizona, Arkansas, Iowa, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Utah, who were saying that if these school districts make their kids wear masks, they're going to defund them and blah, blah, blah.
They can't do that.
No, I know. And I had wrote really big letters, go to court, right before we came on, because I saw more court and they're going to say no, that these school districts can require mask mandates.
Just like they can require you to have a vaccine to start school.
That's right. And you know what I think is going to happen too? I think at some point the federal government's going to step in and say, for all these states like Florida, which is responsible for almost 20% of the infections in this country, and also Texas, if you all don't start requiring vaccinations or mask mandates, you're going to lose federal funding. How much you want to bet? I see that.
You heard it here, everybody. You heard it here.
I'm just a little, now people who cannot get the vaccine because of medical reasons.
Absolutely.
I get that. I totally get
And
that.
they'll have something that they can put on their record.
But I'm totally miffed at those people that there's nothing wrong with them. They're just the anti-vaxxers. They're drinking that Kool-Aid and they're the ones fueling this Delta variant. I mean, there should be no reason for these uptakes in this virus ravaging this country, because it's being fueled by the people who won't get vaccinated.
Exactly.
I just heard on TV before we started, in Austin, Texas, there are only 6 ICU beds left in their hospital system for 2 million people because the Delta variant and the anti-vaxxers. So
and the other thing is the insurance company is going to start getting involved.
that's right. They're
going to say, look, you don't get the vaccine, we don't cover it.
That's exactly what I see. You don't get vaccinated, you ain't getting. But
Right.
I'm thinking that, at some point, the federal government's going to threaten to cut funding to these states that have these governors that are saying, well, if people in this state wear a mask or the school system's required, it can be criminal. You're right, Linda, it will not hold up in court.
And it's going bad. Where is it? Louisiana is really bad. Too.
Oh, it's horrible. It's
I
horrible.
feel so bad because, it's
I
almost
just pray
like,
for those people who drank the Kool-Aid. And
I know. And then that one couple on ABC News, the guy died, the husband died within 30 days. She's getting ready to get a ventilator and they have 3 beautiful children. And she told the doctor, please, can I have the vaccine? And he said, honey, you're too late.
It's too late.
And she said, please make sure my children get vaccinated.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's really sad. I pray for the people in late.
But the thing is, then who did they infect? You know what I'm saying? It's terrible.
Well, people say they have a right not to wear a mask and not to get the vaccine. That's true, but then stay home because you don't have the right to infect other people.
Right, exactly.
And so
GOP members were secretly filmed, I think, in Texas, admitting to the voter suppression law is another way for them to ensure seats for the GOP. Will this be used as evidence in the court to halt this? I saw that. Deb O sent it. Is somebody secretly taped that they're deliberately doing this voter suppression and making it just go slow? Like they're deliberately doing, it's terrible.
So what was the question? I'm sorry.
Will this be used as evidence in court to halt this?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I see a lot of deception. I pulled another card. I saw the 5 of Swords. So a lot of that will come out. And yes, it will be used in court to halt this BS.
I hope it goes to Supreme. I see Supreme Court saying, well, the courts have already said all these nurses got fired because they wouldn't get the injection, and they've already filed a lawsuit. They said, no, you
Right.
get an injection or you don't work there.
Well, there's a very famous airline whose name I won't mention. And they're saying that all of their people have to be vaccinated by October. And if they refuse to do so, they'll be on furlough. And then if they refuse to do so, unless they have a super duper medical reason as to why not, then guess what? They'll be terminated.
Okay.
So I've got one for you real quick. That's okay. The interesting with Cuomo. So I've had some questions.
Yeah.
Is it a Republican plot to get him out of office so that ultimately Republican can take office and stop the Trump investigation?
No, he showed his ass.
No, I know that.
He's a pompous Italian. But I think his career is over with. I think he'll fight as long as he can. Of course, like they're doing for Gavin Newsom out here and everything, the Republicans would love to get rid of him. But I think it's a Democrat that comes in and takes his place if they impeach him, correct?
That's true, but then I think the question of is it makes it look really bad for the Dems, is the idea to get a Republican in there so they can stop the investigation against Trump in New York. But I don't see that.
I don't see that. I don't see him being able to I don't see a governor being able to do that unless it's illegal.
I think.
Okay, here's one for you.
Yep.
Will Governor Reese here in Mississippi change his stance on not mandating masks in the schools or elsewhere? He said he absolutely won't. Is this a political ploy to keep the 45 base on his side and also financial gain for him? Thank you, from Jackie.
The political ploy to keep the 45 base on his side, absolutely, and total financial gain for him. But you know what? When children start dying in that state because of this mandate, then you know what? He can kiss his governorship and his sweet butt goodbye.
Yeah, like DeSantis, the Satan, whatever they call him.
Like the Satan in Florida.
He's a goner. Right. I don't know what he thinks, who he thinks he's impressing, but he's a goner.
And I see my guides show me a lot of people are going to start filing civil lawsuits against these governors, okay, for not having a mask mandate and being responsible responsible for the deaths of innocent kids. There's going to be a lot of lawsuits filed against states. You'll see.
I read a client the other day who, one of these states, I can't remember which one, she got COVID in January. She got the vaccine in March. She got the variant because she lives in one of those states.
Right. Well,
I mean, she's not going to die. Thank you very much. But
sometimes you can get a breakthrough infection, but if you've had the vaccine, it keeps you from dying and it keeps you out of the hospital.
Right.
So
did you want to do a question? You want another one?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go on.
Left Palm says Proud Boy member Ethan Nordian has gained an apparent influx of $980,000 to offer a secure bond to be released from January 6th Capitol insurrection. Charges is unaccounted for and suspicious. Was it offered to keep him quiet, or is he helping a plan to move more violent chaos?
Oh.
$980,000. Whoa, a secure bond.
Right.
That was from the outside.
Exactly. Totally from the outside. I don't know if, it sounds like hush money, but I'm not seeing it working.
Yeah, I don't see it working either.
No, I don't feel that. Mm-mm.
What's going to happen is, okay, can I tell you real quick? Now, they're doing the bill, the New Deal bill.
Oh, the New Deal, yeah.
And you know that now, instead of 19, they have 22 senators that are voting yes, including McConnell.
Oh, Mitch is going to vote yes after he didn't want to run it through because he wants to get reelected.
Well, he didn't want to help anything with Biden. What's that about?
It's just obstructionism for the sake of obstructionism.
No, but now they're not obstructing. What happened?
Well, because I think he's starting to realize that, wait a minute, all this Trump BS is out of control and Mitch McConnell can't stand Trump. And if he's going to stay in power, he'd better start doing something and stop the obstructionism, because I know a lot of folks in Kentucky are tired of his BS and everywhere
Yeah.
else.
Well, the
So-
other thing is this is 70% approval rate from the American public.
Right, that's
Why
right.
would you work against the American public?
But you know, it's gonna bite Moscow Mitch big time, Linda, because I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you. Is my Mitch McConnell's pretty bad, but people like it. Anyway, you know, he's already made a fool of himself.
Right.
So even if he goes along with this, people are gonna be like, wait a minute. You
Hey,
know, they see what a chameleon he really is, and it's like, goodbye.
Yeah. Hey, when or if Texas will ever have, okay, the wording is where will Texas ever have a better electric grid? Because what I have heard from people in Texas is no, but they will do some work next year. I was born and raised in Texas, but now I live in Washington State. My brother lives in San Antonio. So they're going to sit down and start, I think they're going to get rid of that Texas governor.
Oh, you're reading my mind, or I'm reading yours. Abbott is going to be gone. And I think, you know, when he's out of office, I see a lot more money invested in Texas for their grid, you know.
Right.
They're going to have to, because a lot of these electrical grids and everything like that, they're really almost obsolete.
Right.
And I just watched on TV before we started today that it's blinking red. I think they're calling it a climate code red for humanity. And so we're going to need a lot more infrastructure going on with power grids and things like that.
Of water.
Of water, all of that,
Yeah.
electrical stuff. You know, I just heard that we can't undo what we've already done. In other words, that's irreversible, this climate change. What we can do is keep it from getting worse. And so I think everybody's starting to wake up, like the wildfires in California, the heat waves in Texas, all of this stuff is waking people up. And it's going to be the climate that gets Abbott out of office. How much you want to bet?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I see a governor coming into Texas that will invest in the infrastructure and all of that. And I say, good.
You know, I was talking to Andre, and I'm going to share with you the vision I had. When all this, people are saying, Linda, what about this voting, all this restrictions, but what is going to happen? What is going to happen? And my guide showed me the weirdest vision. They showed hundreds of ants. And you know how ants will go around things?
Yes.
If that's in their way.
Yes.
And I just see ding, 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 ding. I just see millions of ants doing everything they can to get to where they need to go. I think that's the Democrats. I think they'll do what they have to do to work around, because that's the vision I got. And something Andre said that was very true. Ants can pick up things way bit more power, you know, bigger than them.
That's
so
right.
They're able to carry the weight of the world, and they're going to go and they're going to make sure that it's done. I see people like Abrams and everybody just getting in there and helping all of us to make sure that everybody has their birth certificate, whatever you need.
That's right. I agree. I totally agree. I think the Dems are getting stronger. They're finally growing parts of the anatomy they've long needed.
Well, they're going to start sending subpoenas for the January 6th thing. And I'm going to tell you what, they're not messing. They will arrest people who decide, I don't have to show, like they did when Trump was in office.
You know, there's a few people that are going to try that. And when they get arrested,
I saw it. Yeah.
There's going to be a few people like Trump who's going to take it to court and try to play it out. It won't work, Donald.
Yeah, it's going down. But
You know,
the other thing is now McConnell and some couple other people, 22 Republicans have decided to vote for this new deal. It's gone on to Congress now. And, you know, Trump was saying, don't do it, don't do it. He got one new Republican to slow it down. He was bragging about him. But even McConnell and everybody didn't listen to Trump. They said, nah, we're going to pass it. Because it's 70% approval rating.
That's right. I'm all for this new deal. I think it's amazing.
Yes. Well, our dear friend Franklin D. Roosevelt came to me years ago in one of my videos, and he told me that Joe Biden was going to be the future president, and he was going to bring forward a new deal like I did, he said.
You know what when you were talking about Trump, I just got a vision and I saw all these arrows like coming every direction and like
Whoa.
toward Trump. Um, they don't have rubber tips on them. They'll stick. And the meaning of that is, he's going to start falling from every direction. He's going to get hit from every direction at once. In fact, so many, I don't see how he's going to have enough lawyers to file enough lawsuits to keep him out of all of it.
Right. And there's more of us than there are of them.
That's right. Because
And
that's right.
Andre said it's 5%. I mean, Biden won by 5%. And Trump lost. I mean, I'm going to tell you, if we have more of them than there are, and also with this virus, it's hurting people that are now going to say, I don't know about Trump.
That's right. I had a cousin who liked Trump, and she caught coronavirus, and her husband died, and all of a sudden, she don't like Trump anymore.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Because of the rhetoric.
Where did they live?
Arizona.
Oh my God.
It was horrible. So I don't know, but I do know. I see.
Well, he's vaccinated. I don't get he's vaccinated.
What it boils down to going on in this country, my guide showed me, it's almost like an American apartheid. It's the minority dictating what the majority of us should do. And that will end.
Thank you. Now, I got to ask a quick question. It's not on here, but I have to ask you. Rand Paul, what's the future for him?
I got to laugh, being from Kentucky. If he's going to try to run for presidency, and I can sum that one up in 2 words: good luck.
He's going to try again?
I think he will. But, what I see? A piece of burnt toast. That's what my guy showed me. A piece of burnt toast with his name on it.
I can't believe how he wins. And his father was a jerk too. He's a libertarian like him. I mean, they were both idiots.
Well, I mean, what was that in the area of Kentucky he comes from, the subdivision he lives in, he doesn't follow any of the rules, and everybody there can't stand him. And
so how come he keeps winning?
A lot of Kentuckians can't stand him. But I think at some point I see him out of office, Linda. Thank goodness. The good news is Kentucky has a Democratic governor. So
okay.
I followed that politics down there because that's where I'm from, but originally. But I see him gone. Thank God.
Okay, listen, Martha wants to know, will Texas state Democrats be able to stay away long enough to stop the Texas voter suppression laws? Which, by the way, they had another group, but they couldn't get a quorum because 10 people were sick with COVID or had to be shut down because
I think those Texas Democrats that left the state should be given the Congressional Medal of Honor if they could get it. You know what? They're raising enough heads, and that Governor Abbott thinks he's so smart. I'm telling you, ultimately, those Democrats will win.
Yes, thank you.
They will. I mean, even if Texas passes that law, it doesn't matter. It'll get over.
It doesn't matter. That's what I got too, because they may pass it. They may under duress and under he's going to show his ass, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, I'm telling you, a lot of this is going to the Supreme Court, and I don't care if the Supreme Court, 3 of them are from Trump. They're going to say you can't do that.
I asked for a card on this one. Look what I pulled.
The fortunes will change.
That's right.
Fortunes will change. So the energy that I get is that a lot of this stuff is everybody's fighting, and they land on the steps of the Supreme Court, just like they're saying the Supreme Court allowed Arizona to do all this. Yeah, they gave them a little leeway, but if they're going to say, oh yeah, even if you vote for this person, we can change it, that's the no.
That's right. Cannot change that. And isn't it funny what, and I think they're going to say you can't restrict people's right to vote, but with Abbott, it's so funny because if he arrests those people when they come back to Texas, you know what?
What?
It's gonna make him look so bad And it's just
That's what I
gonna,
was feeling, a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
oh my God, it's just gonna give so much more energy to the Dems to say, no, enough is enough. We've had
Right.
it. And even
Because,
some nonsense.
Andre and I were just talking about the big deal on January 6th, and we both agreed, and I don't know what you think. God forbid that nothing happened to Pence or Pelosi, but had they had achieved that, that would have ended all this pretty fast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it would have been blood on their hands really bad. As it is, they've already killed officers, but they're not. But if they'd taken someone like Pence and done that, it's very distasteful. People wouldn't want. It's like nobody was into civil rights until they saw what they were doing to people on the bridge in the riots and how they were hurting people. Then America didn't have that taste for it in their mouth anymore.
I think what it would have done was pulled, the independents and the Democrats and many of the Republicans together all in one saying enough is enough.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think it would have changed some of Trump's base because they wanted blood. They want
Oh yeah, he deserved it. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
the white supremacists. They want to go back to a time when, when it's just whites only. That's what they want.
That's exactly what it is.
And it's not going to happen.
And even the ones that are wannabe whites that say whites only, but they're not really white. But anyway, what will be happening with the health insurance industry and premiums due to COVID pandemic? I can't help but think with expensive hospitalization daily averages, people 57,873 due to COVID as of today, and outpatient care, insurance are paying out more. And insurance companies will pass that on to premiums. So what do you see? This is from Carol with insurance.
Well, Carol, that's an excellent question.
Excellent question.
Because I do see at some point the government stepping in saying they got to keep a ceiling on premiums, and then the government doing a bailout for some of the insurance companies. But insurance companies are still making money. Don't kid yourself.
Oh yeah.
But I also think with this infrastructure package, I think there's going to be a lot more put in place to make hospitals better and more well-equipped. And also things put in place to handle future pandemics. I mean, we had it in place, but Trump threw it all out. Obama had it in place to handle pandemic, but Trump didn't do anything about it. So a lot of that reinstated. So good question, Carol, but I really feel like the government's going to say to insurance companies that they can't price gouge. They've got to keep the prices lower.
Well, I almost felt that insurance companies are going to say, if you don't get the vaccine, you're not covered. Like they say, if you smoke, we're not going to cover you.
Right.
If you're obese, we're not going to cover you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Unless you've got a medical reason not to get the vaccine, but you didn't get it because you were being big-headed about it, then, good luck.
Right.
But what happens is those people go in the hospital, they don't have $500,000 to pay the bill, and then the hospitals have to eat that cost.
Exactly. And that goes to us.
Right. And so the ones I'm worried about really are the hospitals in getting help paying all this. And I think they'll get federal help for it.
Right. Okay. Is Jeffrey Rosen's testimony to the Senate going to bring Trump down? Very direct.
Oh, it's already started. I heard Dick Durbin or somebody talk about his testimony, and they didn't really say much about it. They're keeping it hush hush. But I want to tell you something. He really talked about, the whole thing with Clark and how Trump was pressuring him. And it was pretty damning, and they're not done with him yet. So it will bring indictments against Trump. Absolutely.
I also see that guy, what's his name? Clark. I see him in big trouble.
Oh, he's in deep doo-doo. So.
Oh, this is a good question. Leslie said, I'm not sure how to explain my question.
Okay.
If a person passes away and is reincarnated, how then can their spirit from the previous life send signs to their loved ones?
Here's what I believe. I believe that the soul or the spirit stays in spirit. I believe the life force, the mana, the life force, not positive or negative, male or female, comes back to give life to a new being. I think the personality stays in spirit, but the life force comes back. That's how I believe anyway.
Okay. Well, I also see that some people will take a body right away.
Yes.
I do see that, but mostly generations pass before anybody takes a new beginning.
Exactly. Exactly.
A lot of times the deceased on the other side will tell me to tell their loved one they'll be there when they cross. So
I get that a lot too. Like I'll be there with the light, or I'll be there waiting for you, or
right. So Jill wants to know, please tell us that Larry Elder will not win the governor recall in California.
I don't feel that.
I don't see the governor now, Newsom, losing.
See, I don't either. I mean, he's been recalled so many times, but I don't know. I just didn't feel it.
I don't either. Anne said that, are we going to have a shortage of healthcare workers? You know, just on the news today, 2,000 nurses quit in, was it Texas? I think it's Texas. And so the shortage is so bad.
We are
we going to have a shortage? And hey, what as a nurse, I would not recommend my children going into nursing. Where's your payback? It's tough.
What do you get paid back from a bunch of anti-vaxxers screaming about because whatever?
It's already a tough job, but can you imagine working your ass off? Finally, you get a break and here they come again because they decided not to get the vaccine.
You know, my great niece is a respiratory therapist, and I can't say where or what, but some of the things I've heard is just horrendous. And, you know, a lot of these healthcare workers are getting burned out. They're working 7 days a week. They can't take any time off. They're dealing with dying people every day, you know, with this COVID thing, and it becomes overwhelming. So yes, we are going to have a shortage of healthcare workers.
It's making good people that I really like even say, I hate to say it, but I'm not sad they die.
Exactly.
Which is not the norm for these people that I know. But, you know, we can't really think like that. Well, but I can understand their frustration.
Exactly. And so I think, you know, I'm big on mental health, and I think that we really need to find avenues to thank these people who have really worked around the clock and nonstop. And I think we need to find avenues for them to be able to get over their post-traumatic stress from all of this.
I don't see us shutting down. I don't see us shutting down.
There might be.
I know people are so scared, but I got to tell you something. My powwow with my, you know, the Comanches have a powwow, and it's canceled. It's the end of September. They cancel it. So my sister and I aren't going to Oklahoma.
Oh, they canceled it. I didn't know that. Yeah. I was thinking about going with Gary. I didn't know they canceled it, but
it's canceled.
Well, that's a good thing. You know, I see like shutdowns like that, like in certain spots, you know, but not the big shutdowns like we went through before. No.
Okay, me neither. Me neither. Experts at the UN indicated they have about 10 years before the damage of climate becomes irreparable. Will we be able, as a country, to turn things around when it comes to climate?
Well, I heard today that what we've done is already irreversible.
Right.
But we want to stop any more damage. And my guide showed me a scale. I keep saying this, and it's tipped, but it hasn't tipped so far that it can't be stopped. Oh, so the goal now is to just get a grip on what we're doing to the climate so it doesn't become so devastating futuristically, because this is a fairy tale compared to what can happen.
Right.
So I do think we'll be able to stop further irreparable damage. Unfortunately, it's going to take decades to repair the damage that's already been done.
Right.
But look at what in Greece and Turkey and Italy. I mean, they have record temperatures there as we speak. I think in Greece alone, I wrote down, I think it's like 109 degrees, which is unheard of.
My friend sent me a picture. You can probably even Google it, in Greece, of people on ferries escaping the fires. It reminds me of me living here. It was Armageddon.
Yeah, like Athens, certain parts of Athens are on fire. I mean, it's really bad. But by the way, I put on my last YouTube, even though I see fires in Northern California, you and your family will be safe, Linda.
Oh, thank you. Well, listen, they actually are getting that big, huge one, biggest ever, getting it under control a little bit.
Isn't that the Dixie fire?
Yeah, they're getting, I think it was like 8%. Now it's like 20 or something. So they're getting at it.
Well, here again, it's proof that climate change does happen. I mean, I'm hearing like in Bosnia, Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Italy, Romania, record temperature heats, and they don't have air conditioning. A lot of those places. I mean, they have it, but not as like we
In
do.
Greece, because they've never had to live like this.
In Greece, some places have air conditioners, but most don't. And when it gets to be 109 degrees outside, that's sustained, people are dying because of the heat.
Right, right.
So, but that's a good question.
So, will the new attorney general in Texas be a Democrat or Republican?
Oh, that's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah. This is from Nicole. Not my Nicole, a different Nicole.
Well, at some point I do see a Democratic DOJ, but I don't, but I see one before that.
Okay.
So before that, then a Democrat DOJ.
Okay.
But I do see Beto's gonna have a really high elected position in the state.
Oh, good. Denise said, what will happen to the children in Texas as Abbott has no mask mandate? That's going to change, Denise. That it's going to court and they're going to tell them you can't do that. Unfortunately,
Children are dying of this Delta variant.
Right.
Not pretty.
And
I think it's going to be a couple months before they get a vaccine for the Delta variant. But then here again, we're going to have the people, well, I'm not going to give it to my kids and all of that stuff. So.
But don't worry, it's going to change.
It will change, absolutely. But if I had kids, considering what's going on now, I would say they wear a mask or leave them home and homeschool until
this is under control.
That's right.
There are 3 storms in the Atlantic. This is from Giga. There are 3 storms in the Atlantic which could become hurricanes soon. Will they make landfall in the US?
I think a couple of them will be hurricanes.
I felt hurricanes this year. I felt a good substantial one.
Yeah, I'm seeing too a lot of hurricanes. So, yeah, I see 2 of them.
Will they ever pass a bill to reduce prescription costs? I've already reached the donut hole in July. Ouch. I'm retired and we don't get raises.
I think
I do. I see it happening.
So do I. I was going to say before Biden's out of office, I predict that they will.
Didn't he already do an executive thing where he did some things where?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that that there's more coming where they're going to have to reduce costs more because they chance for research and development. But come on, I can get $15 for something in Hong Kong. You pay $150 here for the same medication. So it's crazy.
Right. You'll like this question from Cheryl. Will veterinarian medicine be able to better address, treat, lessen the high rates of cancers in cats these days? Over the past 25 years, my 1 dog and 6 out of 8 cats had cancer.
The answer to that is yes. Especially this is all about canine cancer. My friend Marie, her dog Vinny, his name's Vinny Ocean. He's got a sarcoma and they irradiated it. And they did these things for healing energy for Vinny. He trained with Lucky and he's doing a lot better. But and even for canine and feline sarcomas and carcinomas and cancers, I think that they're going to be able to do a lot with like what they're doing with vaccine therapy.
Right.
To use it in humans and in animals to help prevent and help get rid of certain types of cancers. So the answer to your question is, yeah, I see a lot of promise in those areas.
Okay, that's great. Hold on, I'm just going to put you on pause 1 second. Hablo español. Okay, so I'm going to start it. Oh, we're recording now. Sorry. I didn't realize I hit it.
Outtakes,
It's my
bloopers.
gardener's here, you guys. So I wanted to put it on pause so I could close the back door. And I told them, usually I'm out with my robe. Excuse me, boys. Habla español.
That's what she was at the back door doing anyway, guys.
Okay, Amy said, can psychics tell the person what their purpose is? Or are they allowed?
I'm
Because I
sorry.
know free will is, or are they allowed? Because free will is very
Well,
important.
free will is hugely important. I mean, you know, I think all of our life's purpose is the same. We're put here to help other people and other things and other living forms on the planet. It's just the different tools you use to go about it.
Right, right.
So,
And this is a good one from Marie. Why did Tucker Carlson go to Hungary? Is he using his job as a front for why he's there? I just can't be the propaganda. It just can't be the propaganda tour to say, hey, everyone, look how a fascist president got into power claiming they are a democracy. To appeal and promote, that's what we can do too? Question mark. Why Hungary? Is he playing spy with a little black briefcase?
I don't think he's playing spy. I just think he went there to kind of like further his own agenda.
Well, somebody just said to me energetically, he was invited.
Exactly. I just wonder at some point he'll run for political office. As you were talking, that just hit me.
Okay.
But that brings up another question, believe it or not, because somebody asked what will happen to Tucker Carlson? And that's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, my guides tell me his wings will be clipped.
Okay. Thank you.
And I see him gone from Fox, by the way.
Yeah. Because he's going to lie about some stuff and he's going to get caught in the middle of it.
And you know what I see coming with Fox? I think once Rupert Murdoch dies, because that's Rupert, right? That owns Fox. Yeah, because he's very whatever. You know, one of his sons is not Republican. I think he's pretty liberal. So I think once something happens to Rupert, I got a funny feeling his sons are going to just kind of redo that whole Fox News network.
Me too.
And so it's not going to be, you know, all this stuff, this license to lie anymore.
Right. And here's the last question from Irish. Will Biden extend unemployment?
I see it extended.
Okay. I don't feel he can do it now, though. I feel like there's too much else he wants to pass.
Right. Unless I sneak it in somewhere, but I do see it being extended one more time, especially with this prices hitting.
You could probably hear the blow thing in the back there. So, well, thank you, Mel. It was wonderful talking to you again. And we'll go next Monday on your show.
Okay. I've got lots of questions, but I'll just put them on hold. It's always a pleasure. And we got a lot done today.
Yeah. Oh, there were so many. I still got lots of questions.
Well, you want to do one or two more or you want to run?
No, I can't hear you because of that loud noise.
Okay. All right. You stay well and you look fabulous. And I'm going to check out Andre.
Oh, check him out. He's good. I love you, kid.
Yeah, if they want to get in touch with me, just call my office, 847-590-5411.
I put that all on the thing, your YouTube
right.
and everything.
All right.
I'm like, here's my guy. Here you go.
Love
Bye,
you.
honey.